If you've ever played a Bethesda game, you're probably tired of being bossed around by pompous blue bloods. Do you ever wish you could take their place, sit on their fancy chair, and become nobility yourself? The Elder Kings 2, a total conversion mod for Crusader Kings 3, can make these dreams come true, allowing you to live the experience of not only a single ruler, but a whole dynasty of pompous blue bloods. Or cold bloods if you prefer. All of this inside a lovingly crafted, grand strategy sandbox rendition of Tamriel. My chosen champion for this mission was to be this man, Duke Abner of Shadenhall, who henceforth will be referred to as Greg. In addition to his status, he is arrogant, deceitful, but diligent, and a masterful schemer. More importantly, he is one of the most powerful mages in all of Cyrodiil. As a mage, Greg has the ability to extend his lifespan beyond its natural limits in moral and morally flexible ways, which, albeit exhausting, gives us plenty of time to put his butt on the throne before he kicks the bucket. It also allows us to cast spells. Let's cast one now. Oh. Hello? Uh-huh. No, I don't want to buy Daedra Scout cookies. That sounds terrible. I mean, are they like sweet or scorching hot? Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I obviously don't want that, so goodbye. But before we get too crazy, we have to consolidate our power. Our cousin to the southeast owns a nice bit of land that actually belongs to Greg, so we're just going to go ahead and take that. I pressed a button, summoned a few horrors from beyond the veil, and suddenly the cousin wasn't an issue anymore. Family reunions are overrated anyway. While that was going on, my dear wife managed to produce another child. While I already have two which stand to inherit the realm, I spent a considerable amount of time trying to name this child until realizing that nothing, and I mean nothing, is funnier than the name that the game gave him by default. Humilio. Now it was just a matter of fabricating claims, building up our realm, and conquering the rest of Shadenhall. But why are we doing this? Listen up, it's history time. The Elder Kings 2 takes place 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim, in a period known as the Interregnum, which was named such as it took place between the collapse of the Second Empire and the rise of the Third Empire, which was founded by Tiber Septim. Loosely speaking, you can think of this as similar to the dynastic cycle in China, where a dynasty begins strong, becomes corrupt, loses the mandate of heaven, leading to rebellion, war, and the rise of a new, virtuous dynasty to start the cycle anew, bringing order and prosperity forever. In the Elder Scrolls, this period was characterized by provinces of the former empire becoming essentially independent, even if they were still technically under the empire. It would take 500 years between the collapse and the formation of the Septim Empire, a timeline I intend to accelerate using dear old Greg here. The first strands of gray hair are painful reminders of our own mortality, forcing the realization that at some point we are all unified in not living. A famous wizard from another franchise once said that all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. But what if we could borrow some more time from others? What are they going to do with the time anyway? Scroll YouTube shorts? Look, I'm not a bad guy. But if we're going to save Cyrodiil and attain the mandate of heaven, we're going to need to crack a few eggs and maybe bulk up our lifespan just a little bit. Besides, we're just researching what wrongs ever came from research. Okay, so maybe I need to dig up a grave, but like that guy's already dead, so no one's getting hurt here. And maybe we need to dig up some more graves until we officially become necromancers. But we're going to keep it low-key for now. We can't let the haters know about our grind. They're not really going to appreciate it, I don't think. As the Empire continues to disintegrate, now losing its claim over large parts of Cyrodiil, we continue fighting the other warlords, integrating them into our growing realm. Oh, and I also killed a child, but it would have ruined my succession in the event I ever die, so it's not really a big deal. It was pretty justified. People were beginning to name me Duke Greg the Arcane, in reference to my magical ability. I was beginning to turn heads across Tamriel. Another note is I'm not sure if mod developers tuned the AI or not, but they certainly declared more war on me than I was used to. Here I was fighting not only the northern duchy of Arius, but also the realms of... Oh, not again. Yeah, hello? Oh, great. What is it now? You sold all the cookies. Are you just calling to gloat? You have another idea. You want to become a lich? You want me to become a lich? An undead, immortal necromancer? Well, yeah, I sound skeptical. Why wouldn't I be? That's a pretty big decision. Just because you don't have a soul doesn't mean I have to destroy mine. Are you crying? Oh, I'm sorry. I honestly I didn't know you could do that, but I'll think about it. Okay? Yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, yeah. Love you too. Yeah, bye. Human history is littered with the broken legacies of autocrats who sought eternal life. To return to China, the most famous of these is without doubt the illustrious first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang. This dumbass drank actual mercury, killing him at the tender age of 49. He did, however, build a terracotta army, which was pretty cool, bringing the whole gang to the afterlife. Although Greg as himself is now officially dead and is kept alive by equal parts magic nonsense and pure willpower, he has a renewed ambition to realize his lifelong dream of sitting on the fanciest chair in Tamriel. Of course, not everyone would see how great this would be. My public unveiling of my propensity to consume the souls of the living would attract some attention, not least from the pretender empress of the Imperial Corps who sought to cut me down to size. I may be many things, but I am not weak. And if I am, I'll raise an army of the undead to reinforce my human levies. In spite of my magical abilities, I was no match for the Imperial Legionnaires, and distracted by wars on multiple fronts, the war progressed poorly. The Empire had occupied much of our core territories and had begun besieging our capital. Drastic measures were needed. I used my remaining arcana to bind the souls of the perished into a group of bone colossuses and prepare for a final battle outside my capital of Shadenhall. With this victory, the tide of war turned, and the Empire was forced to recognize our independence and withdraw their legions. Greg, however, was not done. With the legions broken and the Empire in debt, Greg would use this opportunity to secure our borders and claim some territory for ourselves. With this, Greg could proclaim himself as the overlord of Shadenhall, positioning himself a true challenger to the Ruby Throne. By the way, whatever happened to Humilio? Here he is, looking robust. He's a tax collector. I'm gonna give him some of this new land, see if anything happens. It's pretty unexciting when your dad is immortal. Around this time, Greg had also found a new spell, which means that I found the button for it. It's called Restless Dead, and when cast on a province, it endows Greg with an undead horde corresponding in size to the population of that province. When cast in the Imperial City, for example, we are given thousands of zombies ready to overwhelm our enemies. With this in mind, the momentum of history had changed. Although it would take a few more lengthy wars against a series of increasingly weak emperors, our realm grew. Like any historical empire, it would not be a single grand conflict that shaped its history. Rather, the countless daily actions, the thousand cuts if you will, that led to its slow decline that only seemed inevitable in hindsight. With every night they kill, another undead servant is raised from the dead to supplement our armies. What was once a human army supported by necromancy has become an undead horde supported by a few terrified, loyal men and women. In the midst of these interregnal conflicts, Greg's children would begin to die of old age. But that is of no matter. Humilio's death made Greg sad, but his long life would surely soften the blow of this loss. On the eve of the Fourth Imperial War, we picked out a new outfit for dear Greg. If he were to sit on the throne, he needed to look his best, even if his clothes began to darken and rot. After multiple prior beatings, the remains of the Empire did not put up much of a fight, even as undead hordes clamored at the gates of the Imperial City. The prayers of the Imperial citizens would fall upon deaf ears, and when the White Gold Tower was breached by Greg's abominations, it became clear to all that no gods would intervene on this day. At the tender age of 127, Greg the Arcane would proclaim himself the Emperor of Cyrodiil. Although much work remains before the Empire is reunited, I will leave things as they are for now. As a spry young man of 127, Greg needs his rest. But thank you for watching, and do consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. This mod is a lot of fun, and it's clear that a lot of thought and passion has gone into it, so I would consider revisiting it. Goodbye.